Hey everybody, welcome to the Course Building Secrets podcast. I am so excited to introduce you to Martin Salama today. And so let's get to it. Martin, tell us about yourself, your business, and what you have going on right now.
All right. Well, first thing is thank you, Sarah, so much, Tara. I'm excited to be here with you. Let me start off by saying that, and I'm excited to be on your podcast. So I'm known as the architect of the Warriors Life Code, and life stands for live incredibly full every day.
I love
And
that.
that's what I do. It's all come from years of not living incredibly full every day and recognizing that that's been holding me back. And I created a bunch of stuff around that. So yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I just, first of all, I love the word warrior. To me, it's so actionable and it's so like you just know that you're just going to step in and make things happen. So
Yeah.
tell me just a little bit about your story around that. Like, how did
Yeah.
you decide that this was your passion, your expertise that you were going to lead with and start a business with?
All right, cool. So in 2008, my wife and I, at the time, we were working on a project for about 5 years to build a multi-million dollar health and tennis club down by the Jersey Shore in New Jersey. And we had finally, after 4 or 5 years, gotten all the city and state approvals, everything we needed to build. Go to the bank. It's like August of 2008. We're like, okay, I put millions in. Let's go. You said when I get everything, you'll lend me the money. They're like, yep, we're not lending now. What are you talking about? Oh, the world's about to fall apart. I'm
Right,
like,
right.
really? I don't know. I didn't know that. Everybody's lending money like crazy. Well, the next month, September, the world fell apart and I lost every single dollar I had to my name.
Mm.
I had borrowed money. I had investors. I had everything really basically ready for this. And we lost it all. It took me about a year to pull myself off the ground off that and get myself to back together again. And I had decided about a year or so later that, okay, I'm ready. I decided what I want to do. I'm tired of being a businessman, entrepreneur for my whole life. It's almost 50 years old at the time. I'm going to become a life coach. I've been involved with other life coaches. I loved what they did, was involved in community events, and I was always the guy that was a leader, coaching people to get the most out of them. So I was like, fantastic. I look into it. I find a coaching program, and then it's my 24th wedding anniversary, and my wife says, yep, I'm done. I want a divorce.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. And I didn't get you anything like that.
I didn't get you that gift.
No, I didn't
Oh.
get it for you. But looking back now, it was the greatest gift she ever gave me
Hmm.
because it was a kick in the pants. And I said, okay, I'm still going to go to life coaching school. And God had a reason. He said, you need to be going to life coaching school while you're on the bottom of the pit because you
Hmm.
got to figure out what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And you're doing a lot wrong. And it was my mindset of, well, this is who I am my whole life. I can't change. Going to life coaching training taught me, yes, you can change.
Hmm.
And originally, I came out of that becoming a divorce recovery coach. I wonder why, you know. And then a few years later, I was really loving my life. I started dating a little bit, and I realized that everything that I had before I was in a codependent relationship because I was always trying to change her. She was always trying to change me. I was always trying to please her, all those things. I needed to change those things. And I realized that I was living the best life possible. And that's where I came up with the acronym for Live Incredibly Full every day. Now I started dating and I'm meeting women and I'm basically interviewing them about their values. And I'm realizing, okay, I got to find someone who's got the same values. Found someone. We've been married for 4 years now. It was after
Awesome.
2 years. And 2 years into it came COVID. And everybody's worried and I'm not. So why is everybody worried and I'm not worried, or vice versa? And my wife too. And I realized that the last 10, 12 years had prepared me for anything.
Hmm.
So I got onto Facebook and I said, guys, I want to show you how to go from being worried to being a warrior. And the Warriors Life Code was created.
That's so cool. I love that. So how do you monetize this? So do you work with people one on one? Do you have a program or a course? Do you do live? Do you do virtual? Tell me a little bit about your business and
Yes, I do.
how
I
you've
do all
taken
those.
it from that to now
Yeah.
having a business with it.
Yes, I do. So I have a course. It's called the Warrior to Warrior coaching course. That's online, but I also have a coaching group coaching section of that as well. I've also done some one-on-one. And as a matter of fact, as a result of all that, I just created my first card deck on my coaching.
Oh, super
They just
cool.
came
Look at
out, and
that.
hopefully by the time this podcast comes up, it'll be ready on my site. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this is great for people who are thinking about working with me, or people who have worked with me. They work both ways.
Yeah, that's super cool. So tell me about your course a little bit, since we're the Course Building Secrets podcast. So we'll talk a little bit about your course. So when you first went to package what you were doing, right? Like you had the name, you had kind of the concept and sort of the approach that you probably used with one-on-one. How did
Right.
you go about taking that expertise, taking what you were doing and packaging it into something that could be an online program and an online course? What did that look like for you?
So for me, it was about building a blueprint around what I wanted to do step by step by step.
Mhm.
And in my first coaching, when I was a divorce recovery coach, I took the word recover and made it a 7-word acronym for the 7 steps. So when I changed it to uncover the greatness that's underneath you, uncover what's holding you back from getting your greatness.
Mm.
So that's part of my course is the uncover. And then I took this blueprint and I said, okay, what's the problem that they're looking to solve? How can I help them? And what tools can I use to get them there?
Awesome. Yes, that is exactly what we teach right there. So you could have gone through my course because it's uncovering the problem. And then it's determining like, what is that blueprint and like, how do you take them on that journey through where they are to where they want to go? So that's great. So what's your like biggest piece of advice around packaging your expertise that you can give to our audience?
So for me, I think it starts with branding, but beyond that, it's also making it so that they remember you. Know, like, and trust is very important.
Right.
But if they don't remember you, the other 3 don't mean anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why for me, I came up with the word uncover, with the acronym for uncover, the acronym for life. As a matter of fact, I have so many different things that I do with the word life, other than live incredibly full every day. So 3 or 4 of my courses are based on the word life, as well as some of my things are based on the word warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Like 7 tips you can teach your children about being an abundant warrior mindset. And I take the word warrior and break it down into 7 tips.
I love it. Well, and the other thing is it makes it memorable for other people, but it also makes it memorable for you, right? Because you could just say very quickly, like, here it is, and
Yep.
then you don't have to try and remember it or stumble on your words and be like, well, this is kind of what it is or whatever. It's like, nope, it's life. It's living, whatever you just said. Like it just, goes straight off of the tongue that way. That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you. So
Um,
that way, when people, like, for example, whenever I'm doing a Facebook live stream, I start off as Martin, the architect of the Warriors Life Code, live incredibly full every day. So they go, well, there he is. There's the life guy again.
Yeah, very cool. Live what did you say one more time?
Live
Yep.
incredibly full every
Live
day.
incredibly full every day. All right, I'm gonna remember that. And so then I'll not say that again. I'll remember. All
I'm
right,
the
very
life
cool.
guy.
Okay, so what is like one resource or tip or tool or book or something that you use that is like key to your ability to like do what you're doing or to get to the next level or anything? Like what's your favorite resource that you would recommend to other people?
Well, it's an interesting question, and this may not be the answer you're looking for, but it is what's gotten me to where I am. And that was when I was going through coach training. I first had to get out of my own way,
Mm,
right? So I read the book, The 4 Agreements,
okay.
and I was like, agreement number 2 is don't take anything personally. I'm like, really?
Mm,
I don't have to take anything personally? Oh, wow. That's an interesting concept. It's been some people, it's like this guy, Dr. Don Miguel Ruiz, opened up a light to the stadium and said, hello. And I was like,
yeah.
wait a minute, people have been telling me this my whole life. Why am I now? Because he said it in a way that made me understand it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. And that changed everything, because before that, I was a people pleaser. And with that
Mhm,
comes taking things personally, being a control freak, and having a very short temper,
mhm.
which is probably why my wife divorced me.
Yes.
But looking
But yeah,
back,
I
like
mean,
I
you're
said, it was a
probably
great
ready to
thing
hear
she
it.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. You're probably ready to hear it at that point. But yes, that's such a good tip too, because I think that especially when people are sort of teaching their passion or using that as their product or their service, it is hard to not take it so personally or
Yeah.
to not feel responsible for other people when you're coaching or doing those different things. But that's such a key component
Yeah.
is you can only help people who are running towards you, right? Like you
You're
can't help
exactly
people
right.
who are running away. Yeah.
Right. And exactly right. And to your point of where we would use it in course creation is that you cannot be married to exactly what you're making in your course because
Mm-hmm.
along the way, someone's going to tell you, this doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if more than one person tells you that, you have to say, okay, what do I have to change here?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't take it personally if they tell you that's not working for them.
Yeah. 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 It's like, yeah, it's being excited and passionate about your expertise, but not so much exactly what you're teaching. Cause you're right. Because it's really all about the people that you're teaching. It has nothing to do with you anymore at that point. When you put it out into the world, it's about helping other people succeed. And if the evidence isn't showing that, then yeah, you need to adjust, you need to change it,
Right.
and do
And
that.
here's another point that you can for the audience is don't think about making $1 million. Think about helping 1 million people.
Yes. Yes. 100%. We talk about that all the time. And it takes a little bit more effort to make $1 million than just putting something on autopilot and calling it a day, right? Like that's always my favorite for the baby entrepreneurs out there who have been told, just make a thing and you put it out there and everybody will come and buy it. It's like, not so much. Not
So
so much.
simple. They have to find you first. How are they finding you?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes, very cool. Awesome. So give us I'm just super curious, like when you are doing your coaching and helping other people, and like bottom line it for us, like what is the biggest thing that you see that would make a huge difference to people in the work that you do, right? Like is it helping them uncover something? Is it a new mindset trick? Like what is
Yeah.
that, what's that thing that's sort of your secret sauce around that?
Yeah. So it's a great question. And, when people ask me what do I do, and I quickly tell them, I help people change their mindset from lack to abundance.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it goes a little deeper than that. It's changing their mindset from a self-conscious to self-aware.
Mm,
And the self-conscious is the negative side of it, the guilt. Oh, I got to prove everybody else right. I got to do what's right for what everybody else wants me to do. And self-aware is I'm within myself. And out of that comes a word that I'm in the process of trademarking is the word rationalize is really 2 words, rational lies.
oh,
That it's
interesting.
rational to tell yourself lies that you think you're doing something that goes against what's in your heart or against your values to help somebody else or to prove your ego right or something.
Fascinating. I like that. Yeah. So how, like, give me an example of somebody, like, what does that look like in real life if somebody's tripping against this challenge?
Yeah. So they're trying to help everybody out, like in terms of the self-conscious. They think that if they're helping somebody else, then it's okay. For the biggest thing is being a people pleaser was I figured if I was people making everybody else happy, then they'd be happy and I'd be happy. But what I learned was I got to make myself happy first
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody else. So that's the first thing I tell my clients is, are you trying to prove yourself to others or are you trying to prove yourself to yourself? And then go from there and build on that. What is it that's holding you back? One of the things I talk about is responding instead of reacting, because that was one of my biggest things. As somebody who was a control freak and has short temper, I'd react to everything. So I go through a thing of showing them how they can stop in the moment, think about what's happening, and respond. And go from there.
That's interesting. I just actually had that this morning where I reacted when I shouldn't have. I should have, stood back and responded. But I did. I had that moment of reaction, and I've done a lot of training in this, just because I tend to be that way. But I totally got triggered this morning, and that happened to me. That just reacting to something, and
Yeah,
it's just like stopping yourself in that moment where you just want to react immediately and kind of looking
yeah,
at, okay, what, how, how do I need to show up right now? Or how
right,
many breaks do I need to take before I can respond? Right.
right.
Like,
And a lot of it is brain muscle memory,
uh-huh.
right? because the first time you do it, you're going to react, and the second time you're going to react, and then after that, you just go back and you think about it. And I show them, I give them worksheets and say, okay, what happened? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And so the next time, and then as they're building their muscle memory, eventually it'll get to be, instead of 100% of the time they're reacting, 95% of the time they're responding. I'd love to say 100% of the time they'll respond, but something will come up in someone's life and they'll go, "Oh my God."
Right, right. It's like the trigger that you don't know is the trigger yet, and then
Exactly.
you can be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a trigger. But that's such the warrior's way, right? Like I love that you have that, because that, even just that small skill set, is what I attribute to the warrior, right? Where you're
Mm,
able to sort of control your behavior and make decisions based on responding versus reacting, and what that looks like, because
yeah.
it does totally change your state. It changes your relationships, it changes your state, changes how you show up
Right.
just in
Exactly.
general. Yeah.
Exactly. And people say to me, "Why do you call it a warrior? Women aren't warriors." I said, "What are you
Yes,
talking
they
about?
are.
Women are the strongest warriors." I grew up with four older sisters.
Yeah.
Women are tough beings.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting too, because that's such a powerful statement. Because I mean, I obviously resonate with it, but I resonate with it because, like even when you were talking about self-conscious, right? Like even body language, right? Like
Yeah.
if we tend to kind of be like this, like stepping into this kind of position where it's more like authority, that's a warrior stance. You can
Right.
call that whatever
Exactly.
you want. Like my warrior is Wonder Woman, right? Like I'm showing up as Wonder Woman today. Like this is happening. That's a warrior,
Right.
right?
Right.
And she's a powerful warrior. But it's just sometimes just changing how your body is,
Yeah.
which puts you into that state. And I think
Right.
women really need that.
Right. And it's that mindset of when you're being that way, like this, it's I have to do this.
Mhm.
I've got to do this. Instead of when you're in the mind of abundance and the mind of self-awareness, you're going, I get to do this.
Right. Right.
Even if it's I get to go to work or I
Mhm.
get to go to the supermarket or whatever it is,
Mhm.
just that mindset change. I walk in, I try to make sure that I make somebody laugh every single day.
Yeah.
Why? Because even I know them or don't know them, I'm making them happy today, even for that 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get to make someone laugh today.
Yeah. Very cool. I love it. So nice to talk to you today. I am so happy that you were able to be on the podcast today. So thank you so much for joining us. If you are interested in hearing more about what Martin has to offer, his website is.
Well, you could go to connectwithmartin.com and there's a bunch of little links there that you could contact me and get to my website. And also there's some free gifts there if you'd like.
Perfect. Awesome. So go check out more about Martin. We will put all of that in the show notes. And Martin, it was my pleasure to meet you today and interview you for this podcast. So thanks so much.
Thank you.